Hello friends, welcome to Geeta's Kitchen. Many of you might have visited Geeta's Kitchen on YouTube and seen me making the recipe videos. Today's video is a special request from a few subscribers of mine. They wanted me to show a kitchen tour and how I arrange things in my kitchen. So let's start. Let me show you all that. So as soon as you enter my kitchen, the first thing I have is this calendar with a God's picture on it. So I have a bath, enter the kitchen in the morning and change the date. That's the very first thing I do and start my day with a little prayer. Below this I have a stand for my kitchen towel roll, which helps me when I want to use it as an absorbent paper for fried things or cleaning small surfaces. My kitchen is not a totally modular kitchen. I would call it as a semi-modular kitchen, because I have modular drawers on one side and this side I have preferred to keep open shelves, because I feel this way we can reduce the number of pests like cockroaches also. So this is how my kitchen shelf is. I have always arranged my things so that I access it depending on the frequency. For example, in the topmost shelf I have these badams and applams which I don't use every day. And one major box is for the sambar pudi, which I grind for about 3 months at a time. So these are not things which I use every day. So I have kept it on the top shelf, and this round box is for papad so that I can store them properly. And in those days, we did not have ready access to rice flour or besan in the supermarkets. So we had to go to the mill and get them ground. So this is the kind of container we use. So this is a reminder for me how I used to get my flours ground. Okay, now to the next shelf is the one which is more frequently used on an everyday basis. So here my first morning beverages, I have coffee powder, sugar, tea, and in that one I have kept some tea bags, green tea bags, which I drink occasionally when I want to avoid milk in the afternoons. And here these 4 boxes contain my 4 dals, that is tur dal, urad dal, moong dal and chana dal. So I always place the dals only in this particular order, so there is no need for me to label them. Next, being a South Indian, we use a lot of tamarind in our recipes. So I have placed tamarind in this porcelain jar, tamarind and salt I have stored in the glass jar. Similarly, for this shelf, I can call it more or less my breakfast item shelves, wherein I have stored rice flour, besan, maida, suji rava, poha, semia and wheat rava, in the same order as I mentioned. I have always been doing this so that even if I am not working in the kitchen and somebody wants to know where rice flour is, I can tell them it is in the leftmost box. So this way everything remains very well organized. Next, in this shelf I have here the masala box for the spices for my everyday cooking, which you would have seen me using a lot, the mustard seeds and urad dal. And apart from that, I have hing and turmeric powder. And to this end, I have the other masala boxes where I store in the powdered masalas like haldi, sambar powder, and also my spice box of cardamom, cloves and cinnamon. Here I have the other things like dry red chilies, whole dals like green moong, whole chana, dhania seeds, and my other 2 favorite items in the kitchen, which are groundnut seeds and roasted gram or pottukadle, the one which we use for making chutneys. This last shelf is last but one actually. This shelf is one which I don't use frequently, maybe once a week or even less than that. So here I have the items which I use for my baking or special items. Here baking powder, my fruit salt, and for example this is my cocoa powder, cardamom powder. So this is when I make sweets, desserts, milk powder are all over there. And there's a small space for keeping up my snacks and eats like mixture or chips or a few sweets which can be served at any time. And a little bit of jaggery. I always grate and keep ready for use whenever I need. And this box, I keep it. When I make rotis, I always keep some flour in this box for dusting the rotis. And I don't put it back into the main box. That way, your flour also remains good. In the last row, I have got rice here. This can hold easily up to 12 kgs of rice. My pressure cookers and my electric rice cooker. Coming to the next section, this is a stand here where I have my everyday utensils and plates for cooking. And this you would have been familiar with my gas stove. I have my mixie right next to me so that I can use it easily. Microwave, food processor. And in this tray which is lined with paper, I keep oil and ghee. And of course, I make pickles for the year which I have in that pickle jar. And above this, mugs, cups for coffee and tea, tumblers for water, and small katoris or containers for giving small eats or to be served along with the thali. Here I have my electrical appliances, the toaster and some other appliances. These bowls you would now be familiar with, which are very useful for maybe washing vegetables, making batter, mixing dough, my mortar and pestle. And I always keep 1 or 2 trays handy here so that I can easily serve water or coffee to some guests. Here I have an induction cooker, juicer and an electric kettle, and also a kitchen weighing scale. Apart from this, I have a wet grinder which I use for making idlis and dosas. This is something which has been with me for many years. This is the way I used to cut vegetables. For the younger generation, if you are not familiar, that's why I am explaining this. We sit on the floor and use this blade to cut the vegetables and use this for scraping the coconut. Even now I do it at times for particular vegetables, although I very often use these chopping boards. I have a small tray for keeping the washed vessels, and I keep a bottle of liquid soap here to wash my hands once I have touched anything greasy or oily. Added a little bit of greenery with this money plant, some drinking water, and this basket contains my weekly storage of onions and potatoes. This pillar was there when we moved into this house, so I couldn't do anything about it. So I decided the best way to make use of it is to make the kitchen look more attractive, and so I have this little kitchen helper, as I would like to call, with a towel wherein I can wipe my hands whenever I am done with my kitchen work. In the lower shelves, these are all modular kitchen. So here I have my non-stick spoons, my wooden rolling pin and lemon squeezer, teaspoons and tablespoons, other ladles, my measuring cups. One thing you should keep handy is the small screwdriver. See, very often the pressure cooker handles or other kadais, they become loose. So if you have this handy, you can tighten it as and when you are using. And some plastic spoons and a small pair of scissors for opening the milk packets in the morning, and other knives and potato masher, other things which you need. Second shelf contains all the groceries. When I buy from the supermarket, I just store it here. And whenever I need, I open it and transfer it into that. Here I have my extra steel boxes whenever I need them. This I have used for storing my mixie jars and all the things associated with my ovens and plates. And here some more steel vessels with my idli container set and those tiffin carriers which were used as lunch boxes in those days. This has all the heavy duty brass items and large vessels which would come in use when we were a very large family and had many functions at home. This is a pull-out tray where I have some other pickle bottles as well as these appliances which I used now for Diwali, also for making the savories. I have kept here. And in the second shelf I have my fresh wrap and aluminium rolls, and in the last shelf I have this kulfi molds, ice cream molds, etc., which I don't use every day, so I don't keep it very accessible. I have kept it on this lower shelf so that I can take when required. here I have plastic boxes I have stored here. So whenever I need to pack something or store something, I have them readily accessible. And the last one contains my kadais, pots and pans for cooking and frying. So this is basically a very modest kitchen. I wouldn't say that this is exactly how a kitchen should be, but this is a very functional kitchen and I find it very useful. I have a lot of memories when all of us were living together and we have spent lot of time laughing, sharing things here together in this kitchen. And of course, cooking is my passion. I still love packing lunch boxes, and even though my children are away in different cities now, whenever I visit them, I love to make a lunch box and give them when they go to office. So I do hope you liked my kitchen tour, and a simple tip is don't leave any vessels lying in the sink overnight, because you need them to be washed and ready for use the next morning. Again, keep things handy. For example, these pressure cooker weights, one need not look for them when you already have something. So keep a place for everything and put it back in that place. So that's about all I would like to tell you. So thank you for visiting my kitchen, and do come back to Geeta's Kitchen for more useful recipes and tips.